coach of the Class 7A runner-up Mountain Brook Spartans.
Great game. Hats off to Hoover. Congratulations. They're a very deserving team, and, I think Coach Burkett, they've been on a mission since he's got there. They've, a school that's obviously a powerhouse in many other sports. I think Coach Burkett's got them where they've won 20-plus games multiple years in a row, and I just thought it'd be a matter of time before they were playing on this stage. And really happy for him about what he's done for Hoover High School and getting them their first basketball state championship. And I think as long as he's there, they'll be a fixture in the mix every year with what he's been doing. So, much respect to them. About the game, I don't want to get too technical. I hate to be that guy because you always hear coaches say, when they lose, well, we miss shots, But the reality of this one was I told our players they executed what we were trying to do defensively every way that we wanted, okay? We played a really good player tonight, and we held him to a much lower number than his average. But offensively, I've said this all year long, that for us to beat a good basketball team, a very good basketball team the way Hoover is, we need to shoot 35% or higher from three. If we shoot lower than 30% from three, it's going to be tough to beat a good basketball team. Anything between 30 and 35, anything could happen. But tonight we were 1 for 18 from three. So, percentage-wise, we shot 18 threes, made 5% of them. And you say, well, obviously, that's tough against anybody, but it's extremely tough against somebody like Hoover because they have such athleticism that you can't just take advantage of them inside. So I really feel that in that game offensively, that if we could have got a couple threes to go, it kind of changes the dynamics of the game. I think they would have had to come out there a little bit more, which would open up some driving lanes. So anyway, I was going to say this, so I don't want to take that away from Hoover because they did a good job of playing to our weakness tonight, which was that we weren't making three-pointers.
Questions for Coach or the players?
Bucky, a lot of talk about a three-peat, but, every year is different. What's your takeaway from this particular team, this particular year?
Well, that's what I told our guys in our locker room. Our players this year overachieved so great. I mean, so great based on where the expectations were since day one. I promise you, I'm with these guys every day in practice, and these guys will tell you, there were some practices at the start of the year. I mean, I thought this team, there was a chance if we didn't have the great leadership and character that we had, it'd be a 500 team that was hoping to get out of the first round of the area. And now you look up here, and we're here playing on the last game of the last day in the Alabama High School Athletic Association tournament. And, that speaks such volumes to our players' will to win. So I'm just as proud of this team as I am our past two teams or our other teams.
Jack, why don't you talk about this team? You've been on the other two.
Just like he said, we've come a long way. Obviously, everyone kind of forgets about the suspension of Tawarn, G-Man. MVP of the state tournament last year. He's a great player. We don't have him this year. We just had to band together, and I'm very proud of this team. I think we've come a long way. Obviously, school board says we didn't win it, but I'm still proud of how this team finished and how far we've come since the start of the season.
What about you, Terrell?
I just want to say I love all my teammates. I love Coach Bucky. I love Mountain Brook. Coach Bucky, the only coach that believed in me. I'm glad I was able to come to Mountain Brook, even though I didn't.
God, boy.
Even though it didn't end how I wanted it. I'm just happy that I'm here with my team. I love them all.
Other questions for Coach or players? Coach, it may not have been the ending that you wanted for this book, but it's still a great book, isn't it?
Oh, it's awesome. A good thing for basketball, too. Looking up in the crowd, seeing all those people. What a great thing for basketball. What a great tournament. We got to really – sometimes we take for granted what we have here with the tournament format, with the AHSAA, the Civic Center, the regional format. I think sometimes we take that for granted because, obviously Alabama's known for being a football state, but, very few places that have the tournament format when you feel like you're playing an NCAA tournament. So, you know, win, lose, or draw, our players will take away, and all players, all players, not just get to play the Civic Center, they get to play at regionals, they get to play in a first-round game, they get to take away an experience that they'll remember the rest of their lives.
I can tell you this as a basketball fan, we basketball fans thank Coach McMillan and Mountain Brook for the passion that y'all have brought into this building, and it's infected a lot of others, including myself, and we thank y'all for that.
I appreciate that.
Any other questions? Well, Coach, I'm sure there's going to be some interviews over.